Something is not right. Something doesn't look right. What am I missing? We're this close. Huh. Ah! My cock isn't on. Now that my cock is on, we can begin. You can't see the light from up there, can you? See? My cock lights up, but when my cock is up there, it doesn't look like it's illuminated. Alright, so let's get started. So, no green light in the charger, and it's also dead. So, if there's no green light, first thing I'm going to check is PP3V42. PP3V42 is turn on multimeter. PP3V42 is 3.389. Close enough to 3.42, I'd say. Okay, so let's go through the one-wire circuit and see if we can figure out why it doesn't turn on. You can't say any mean things right now.
No, it's not that. Remember that 3115 you wanted to give me?
1 second. And unmute. Done with evil conversation. All right. Let's open up the 820-2850 schematic here and get to work. Oh, motherfucker. I was looking to buy rail. Every time it goes to like 1550, I sell and I buy back in at like 1470. And for some reason today I wanted to buy back in at 1469. The piece of shit stock went right down to 1470 and is now on its way back up. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. I was 1 cent away from buying it before it went back up, but that's going to piss me off for the entirety of the board repair. But all right, let's forget about that. We will forget about that. So, in order for the charger to get a green light, it has to talk to the SMC, which means this chip has to turn on. U6900 needs to get 3 volts at pin 1. What's rail at right now? Ah, you fucker. Go back down to 1469. I'll even take 1471. Piece of shit. Look, it went right to 1470. Right to 1470. My ask was, my bid was 1469. Anyway, this is a bad presentation. All right, back to work. U6900. This is gonna get me for the whole day. Like, I don't even mind when it's off, but it's off by 1 cent. What a shit trade, man. Do you like Nixie tubes? I don't even know what that is. All right, so on U6900, we need voltage at the VCC pin. We need 3.42 volts. Now, this schematic is fucked up. Just ignore this part that's kind of fucked up over here. Ignore this. This is going to send 3.42 volts to pin 1 of here. So pin 4 of U6901 is tied to pin 1 of U6900. This is just in the square because somebody was just not doing their job that day. And so let's just check pin 1 of U6900 and see what we get. Pin 1 of U6900. Crap, where is it? Aha, here we go. Pin 1 of U6900. And we get 0. Okay, let's trace this back. Okay, let's check out U6901. Now, U6901 is a logic gate. If SMC BCAC is present, it's going to take the 3.42 volts from pin 5 and pass it on to pin 1 of this chip. So let's take a look at that. Lewis, I have a 2015 MacBook Pro 13-inch. My MagSafe is 45 watts. Is it right? No! No, you need 60 watt. No 45 watt. No 45 watt. You buy a 60 watt charger. Did you make the image from the last video? No, somebody on Twitter did. I forget who, but I had the link saved. I wish I knew who did it so I could give him credit. If somebody finds the original person that sent that, that would be awesome. Or if that person watches this channel so I can give him credit. I wish I could take credit for making that image, but no, that's not me. That requires talent and time and thought and a bunch of stuff that I didn't invest in. Microscope.
Do you have like snow pants and a jacket yet, Steve? I do pants, but not a jacket. Oh. Can I borrow one? I don't know. Okay. Shipping it off. How does that happen?
Let's see.
Where was that thing? I was like, yeah, he can borrow it. But he didn't, and then it ended up in Russia.
Better. That's all right. So let's check out U6901. U6901. So U6901, we're going to check to see if it has voltage going into the chip to turn it on, which is going to be on pin 5. That's a hairy multimeter probe. And we do. So now we're going to check to see if SMC BCAC is coming into the chip, which is going to be required for the logic gate to work. And we get 0.04 volts. 0.04 volts doesn't seem right for me. All right. So next, we're just going to follow this down. So SMC BCAC is required for U6901 to send 3.42 volts to U6900, which allows the charger to talk to the SMC so we get a light in the charger. But we're not getting 3 volts on pin 1 of U6900 because U6901 is not getting SMC BCAC. So let's see where SMC BCAC begins. And it begins over here at U7000. Now, U7000 requires a couple of things to work. First thing it's going to require is charger DC in to be present. It needs that power rail. Second thing it's going to require is charger AC in to turn 16 volts into 4 volts. Once it has charger AC in, it knows to let SMC BCAC go high. So let's check out the U7000 area. I'm going to be interested in what's on pin 2, pin 3, and pin 14. So U7000 is going to be over here. So let's check pin 2. Pin 2. Favorite childhood cartoon? Batman Beyond by far. $13. That seems a little bit low. I wonder if R7020 is blown. Yeah, we got 16 volts on one side of R7020 and 13 on the other. So that, R7005 is blown. Charger AC in is present. Okay, so charger AC in is present. So U7000 requires that charger AC in be present. So see charger AC in, it requires charger AC in to be present before you get SMC BCAC. So we have this, we don't have this, which means that U7000 may be at fault. Now also on pin 2, I'm supposed to be getting 16 volts, and I get 13. That's going to come directly from the charger. Now, what sits between the charger and charger DC-in? D7005, a series of diodes, and R7005, a supposedly 20 ohm resistor. Now, R7005 is often going to blow when there's either a knockoff charger plugged in, or it's going to blow when the U7000 chip is bad. So let's check out over here and see what the resistance of R7005 is. And it is 20 ohms. Okay. So at this point, I'm kind of leaning towards U7000 being my issue. The reason I'm leaning towards U7000 being the issue is that the chip is getting the power it requires to turn on, but it's not, and it's getting the signals it requires to shoot out SMC BCAC, but it's not shooting out SMC BCAC. Also, it's pulling charger DC-in's voltage down, which is weird, because I should be getting 16 volts there, and it's lowering it to, which means that it's probably taking up more power than it should. So let's remove U7000 and get to work. Either way, we're also selling the ISL chips now. I think I lowered the price recently on the website since I got them cheaper myself. Mailin.repair. There's going to be a link where you can buy tools, and hopefully the U7000 is actually there and in stock. With my luck, I probably forgot to, but I will check it right after this video. Direction. So, okay, let's see. Did rail go back to 1469? You fucker. You fucking piece of shit. Come on, go back to 1469 so I can buy. That's what happens when you're greedy. Like, I just couldn't type in 16. I just couldn't type in 1470. I had to type in 1469. Like, why? Why did I choose that random fucking number? I could own so much more rail right now that I could sell easily tomorrow. But no. Hi. I'll adjust my bid. Okay. Back to the board. So let's remove U7000, and before I replace it, I'm just going to check and see if there's any short circuits that may be causing it to have died. The motherboard is water damaged on my iPhone 6 Plus, so I was wondering if it can be fixed and how much. How much depends on who you send it to. We only do them for data recovery. If you want it fixed to work again, then there's a bunch of people that do that. Alright, so I'm going to see if there's a short to grounds on PP Bus G3 Hot, now that I've removed that chip. JYL Marketing Group says, just saw a video that independent repair shops are fighting for the approval of the right to repair bill. Indeed. And I do plan on going to the Senate again today. Alright, looks like no short circuit to ground, so I'm going to put back on nice, beautiful looking U7000. We'll go from there. Yeah, I do plan on going to the Senate again. Anybody who wants to come, who thinks that they would actually be good at explaining to senators and assembly people why this would be a good bill, I think that would be cool. I was semi-trolling some of the iFixit people. Nice people. One of them's like, yeah, we're going to fight the good fight with you. And I'm like, oh, so you're coming to the Senate next month? That's awesome. I won't have to be the only person there under 50 this time. They're like, oh, no, I meant I was there with you, like, you know, we're in this together. I didn't mean I was actually going to the Senate to... I'm like, oh. Because the last time I went to the Senate, like, I mean, Jessa was there, but she's like a grandma by now. But, like, everybody there that was in the room with me was over 50. All the people there were over 50. And Jessa wasn't lobbying in the same group that I was, so she didn't really count. But even if she was included, she's, like, practically 50. I mean, you know. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with old people, but it would be nice to, you know, lobby with some people that are under 50. All right, so let me get a new chip. I just unmuted. That's so awesome that didn't go out. All right, I got my U7000 chips here. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. What is the liquid thing he is using? That is semen. That is straight up semen. That was... Come on, little ISL chip. Come out of the spool. Good little ISL chip. Alright. Are these not the most fucked tweezers you've ever seen, or what? Look at these tweezers. I scratched the top of the ISL with them. That's my warranty sticker. That's how I know that I worked on this board. Lewis, how much do you get on Amazon affiliate links? Anywhere between 4 and 12%, I believe. No, don't be dare blow away. Come back, you... No. Oh, this is pathetic. How many years does it take before you learn how to solder an ISL? Jesus. How did that IC burn out? I mean, you never described the causes of the failures. That's because nobody ever tells me the causes of the failures. Because nobody ever does anything. You have to understand that none of these machines that I work on have ever had liquid on them before. They've never been dropped. They've never had a knockoff charger used. They were just treated perfectly. They were treated like beautiful little snowflakes on a nice winter morning. You're never going to really know how a lot of this stuff happens because consumers are never honest with it. So it doesn't really matter why it happened. It just matters that it gets fixed. Too much Pornhub causes ISL failures. Yeah, I agree with AIDS app. I agree with AIDS there in the chat. Last month, how many annoying people have come up to you because they recognized you? I would say at least a dozen. It's happening less, which is good for me, because I can't stand that happening. But why am I using this iron for this? Lewis, when the PCH gets hot, can I throw the logic board away? 99% of the time, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't waste time on that stuff. There are people that will. I'm not saying it's unfixable, it's just... Isn't it good for your business, though? Not really. I mean, this is really a destination. I mean, this is a... It's a business that you're only going to think of when you actually need something. So, I mean, if I sold souvenirs or something, then having a lot of people that know who I was would be cool, but... But not being that type of business, it's just weird. Plus, fans often make the worst customers because they have really, really high expectations that you're never going to meet. And the second that you act like a regular business, it kind of... It disappoints them, and then it's all downhill from there and terrible. And if you're a fan, you probably shouldn't do business with us because we're just going to disappoint you. I'll just say that right now. Most likely we will disappoint you in some way. We aim to please, we often disappoint. Did you get the stuff we sent you from Sweden? I'm not sure. What did you send? The other thing with the fans is that, I mean, your job in this business is to pretty much crush people's hopes. I think it's the cable. No, the entire board is done. You're fucked. I think it's a bad battery. No, your U2 chip is bad. You're fucked. I think that the screen is bad. No, you did long screw damage to your phone. You're fucked. Like, the entire consumer interaction that you do with this business is based on taking people that have hopes and dreams and crushing those hopes and dreams indefinitely and without sympathy at all, and bringing them back into the reality. And that's just really sad, you know? Like, I don't want to do that to people that look up to me or that like me, and that's just makes it terrible. If you're a fan, I love you, I appreciate you, but you should probably go somewhere else. We're just going to disappoint you. So, there's no short circuit to ground on PP Bus G3 Hot. So I can plug it in. Yeah, it's the same in the mechanic. It's like, I think I just need my oil changed. It's like, no, you need a new transmission. You're fucked. Like, I mean, it's easy to say that to somebody you don't know. It's kind of fucked up to say that to somebody who's, like, nice and that you know and that you like. It's, you know, just constant disappointing people. All right. What do we get? Green light? Oh, green light just went right off. Wait, but now the fan spins. The green light was on and the fan wasn't spinning. Now the green light went off and the fan is spinning. Huh? Now the green light is on and the fan is spinning. Well, gee. This is why we don't fix stuff from 2010. Wow. Okay. You know what? I'll settle. And since this is a 2010 board, just to be nice, I'll replace C9560 so it doesn't kernel panic. Just because I'm that nice a guy. See? See? To everybody out there that thinks I'm such an asshole, look at that. I'm even going to replace C9560 so it doesn't kernel panic. Because I'm such a nice guy. Why do you only repair Apple devices? You can easily repair a ThinkPad if you add the parts. Well, Apple releases one or two... Let's take the MacBook Air 13-inch. Through 2013 through 2016, the exact same machine with the exact same parts, everything. Lenovo, like every 6 months, it's a new ThinkPad. And they have 21 different lines. Like Apple is MacBook Pro, MacBook Air. Lenovo is the Yoga and the X and the T and the Y and whatever other letters they have for everything. I mean, you would have to stock so many different parts to offer the same turnaround and service. It's insane. Not to mention the fact that most of them are liquid-proof, which is, yeah, they're liquid-proof. And did I mention that you can buy them as low as $400? Like, I got this Dell right here. I mean, it's not the greatest machine in the world, but this thing, $479. I wouldn't pay more than $10 to fix this thing if it broke, because it's $479, you know? What would you suggest to start with for someone to learn electronics? In 2017, I'd try to do something cool with Arduino, I would say. Because that kind of combines electronics, soldering, and programming. So it's kind of like you're not learning one discipline, you're learning a little bit of each. So at least like there's a slightly higher chance of you being of use to society if you get good at the Arduino stuff. What model is your Dell? The Inspiron 13. Inspiron Inspiron. I like to call it Inspiron because it just sounds cool. Like, I want my computer to be inspiring, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Dell Inspiron 13. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I just needed something to check email and stock and stuff like that while I was on vacation, and read email without cursing using the crappy phone email apps. This is for the kernel panicking. Which ironically happens a lot on these even if you do replace this, which leads me to believe that they're just so old that the graphics chip of the VRAM is dying in addition to the cap on the frame buffer circuit. Louis, do you enjoy your job and would you recommend it? I do enjoy it. I wouldn't particularly recommend it if you're new, because I don't know how long this field is going to be around. If you're already engaged in doing this, then I would definitely say learn board repair. If you're not already engaged in doing this, I would get engaged with something that has more likelihood over the long term to be a viable career. Alright, let's make it so a new capacitor will fit. Because scraping, scraping, scraping. Anyone else notice that the new Touch Bar MacBook Pros get worse battery life than the old ones? I couldn't find videos on YouTube confirming this. Okay, first things first is that isn't it funny that the release of the Touch Bar MacBook also coincides with Apple saying, we're no longer going to show you time remaining in the operating system because it's too hard to complicate. It's too complicated to be able to get a precise calculation. AKA, our new machines have shit battery life and we don't want you to know. And B, why you don't see it a lot on YouTube is that people don't actually bother doing full product reviews. They do overviews because that's easier, and they don't keep them long enough to actually know what's going on. Because with the products that they review, they usually buy it to return it because, you know, for fuck if they're going to spend $2,000 on something to do a review. If they are getting the product for free, it's usually because somebody is paying for the review, in which case it's obviously going to be a biased and dishonest review, because if I give a shit review of a product that you gave me, then, I mean, like the company gave me, then the company's never going to give me shit again, which means I lose my source and my revenue, and that entire idea goes in the shitter. Which is one of the reasons I don't do reviews. I'm not spending fucking $2,000 on something for a video that's going to make me $30 or $40, and there's nobody in their right mind that would send me something for free. But yeah, man, I'm not surprised at all. Really not surprised at all. Like, as soon as they said that they were getting rid of that thing in the operating system that tells you how much battery life is remaining, at the exact same time that they released a new machine, it's like, come on, who are you fucking trying to fool? We may have been born yesterday, we are still buying Apple stuff, but we weren't born, you know. But we're not stupid, too. Is that a tantalum cap you removed? That is indeed. And we're going to repeal it and replace it. We're going to take all these tantalum caps, and we're going to repeal them and replace them with a better cap. NVIDIA should have never used high lead bump in their chips. The lead is cracking at a microscopic level, breaking the joint between the substrate and the bumps. Hey, look at that. Somebody who gets it watches my stream. I'm honored and humbled. Somebody that gets that the problem is not the balls attaching it to the board, but the substrate that is the actual problem. High five. That's awesome. How's the right to repair bill moving? It's moving. I'm going to be going to the Senate, hopefully later next month. Whether or not other people decide to come, who knows? But I'll be there. Ain't letting no Apple lobbyists say that when I do this, I'm turning a Mac into a PC. They were the ones that turned the Mac into a Tandy. By doing this, I'm turning the Mac back into a Mac. For any of the new people watching that don't get it, when I went to visit the Senate over the right to repair bill, I had people there saying, oh, well, the lobbyists had said that, well, you know, if they let you fix stuff using their schematics, when you modify the board, you're taking the Mac and you're turning it into a PC, and then you're not telling the customer that you turned it into a PC. So by fixing the boards, I'm misrepresenting it to my customer as a Mac when I've actually turned it into a PC. You bet your ass I'm going to be there to debunk that shit. But and the thing is, some of the lawmakers are young, but a lot of the people there are kind of how do I put this? Old. It's kind of like trying. You ever try to explain to your grandma why she has to save the document before she turns the computer off? And like, no matter how much time you spend, she just doesn't get the concept that if the electricity goes out, that the words are not still there in the paper because it's digital. Like, that's pretty much what it's like. Except if you don't manage to get your grandma to learn the difference between Microsoft Word and a typewriter, your profession becomes illegal. So you have to actually care. Which sucks a little bit, but it'll be fun. We're going to make some fun out of it. We're going to make some fun out of it. Alrighty. Fixed. Made great again. We've repealed and replaced the tantalum. And we can go on to the next one in the stack. Oh, I thought it was a note from the IRS or something. Okay. Okay, what's next on the list? I can't believe this shit. I'm not kidding. I had my bid set at $14.69. The stock goes to $14.70 right before it hits my bid, and then immediately goes back up to $14.88. Can you believe this? I mean, the luck to be off by like I don't care if the stock goes back up, but I was off by 1 cent. MobyFix asks, so how do Trump supporters feel about keeping a few more bucks each month while Trump goes on to torch nature and run over the natives? I haven't followed that much. I can say that I don't particularly have that I guess that guilt that you're supposed to have indoctrinated into you because of what people did like 100 or 200 years ago. I'd like to spend a little bit less money on things in general, smaller government. I don't know. I haven't followed that much, to be honest with you. The specific thing with the natives. But yeah, I don't have that particular, I guess, I'm not saying it's nice, but I don't have the guilt. Yeah. I saw a fan spin. The fan wouldn't spin if it was kernel panicking, right? Ew. I think a lot of the environment stuff, like I feel like they kind of screwed themselves. I don't have the list in front of me, but if you just read through the like what was said by credible scientists, what actually happened, like by this year you won't be able to drink water in this area. By this year we will be underwater. By this year there will not even be seasons, and it's like, how do I put this? How do I put this? How do I put this? Okay, let's say I said that being a vegan is probably better for your heart. Most people would agree, but let's say that I said if you are not a vegan, you will die by the age of 30. And then you saw all your friends turn 35 and 40 and 45. You kind of think I was full of shit, right? I don't know. I feel like a lot of the environmentalists screwed themselves by selling what they were selling based on scare tactics, and now, surprise, like, look what happened. Because if I tried to sell my diet by saying if you eat meat, you will die after the age of 30, I mean, I'm even if it is better for your heart, I'm really not doing anybody good by saying that. And like I remember growing up for that. I remember growing up, and learning about this in the early 90s and having people come to our class and say, by 2005, X will happen. By 2009, this will happen. And it's like, 2017. No. Like, and you combine that with people's natural lack of, how do I put this? People just have a natural inclination to want to keep money in their own pockets.
Well, I had you before? Like,
What's in? Why do you have to use an SMC off another board? Because when you buy the SMC does not come with programming. If you try to read the programming off the existing board, the SMC erases itself. That's just somebody at Apple being a cunt. I don't really know how else to explain it.
do it that on, when you go to set it.
What?
Try to read an SMC.
I should read an SMC and watch it erase itself in front of the assembly person? That's actually a good idea. We got to make a jig before we go there.
Yeah, but be interesting.
And like, what does this chip do? It tells the computer to charge the battery. No, really, what does it do? Like, there's secrets in there, right? No, it tells the computer to charge the battery. I hate this shield they put over the RAM on these. I mean, you didn't need a shield for every other year, so why do you need a shield on the RAM for this year? It's not like it's a radio or anything. Or maybe it is a radio. Maybe the RAM, maybe this is to keep... Like, I wouldn't expect... I mean, really, what do you think the point is of having a shield over the RAM, Jason?
Oh, yeah, that
An EMI shield. Like, the only computer on Earth where I would see an EMI shield over the RAM is, like, Alex Jones's computer. But, like, seriously, why is there an EMI shield over the RAM in the newest Retina? I don't get it.
Are there any notes in the schematic though?
It's to keep the globalists from reading our RAM. I really don't get it. I feel bad saying that because some of his stuff is entertaining, but it makes it. Okay, let's go through. I feel bad making fun of Alex Jones. I mean, he was the one in 2001 that was saying there were no weapons of mass destruction. He had one of the weapons inspectors from 1998 on his show. Thank you. But if there's anybody in the world that probably has an EMI shield over their RAM, it's him. So this is actually a thing. You buy something, you own it, and it breaks, and they want to pass a law that says it's illegal to hire someone to repair it. It's not that it's illegal to hire someone to repair it. It's just that they make the product in a way where repair is purposely difficult, and then use intellectual property law to defend the right. I mean, to defend their right to make it difficult by saying that, oh well, what gives you the right to have access to our intellectual property? It's like, I don't want your intellectual property. I want the battery to charge, fucker. Too much evidence of global warming to ignore it. It's sad when people don't understand it, but if everybody did, we'd already have a change in the climate, in the going climate trends. Honestly, and I personally don't have a lot of guilt over it. I take the train maybe once or twice a week. I walk home 4 or 5 miles. I don't drive. I had LED bulbs before LED bulbs were cool. I paid something like, $40 or $50 per these bulbs in my office to have LEDs instead of fluorescents 6 years ago. I have LED bulbs at home. I live a lifestyle where I just don't feel guilty over it because, the amount of, I just don't feel that guilty about it. Again, if I ate a bunch of crap that was harmful to the environment to produce, and I kept my air conditioner and my heat on when I left my home, and I drove to work every day, and I probably would, I would probably feel a little bit more guilty, but I can't. I just don't. I do my part to help the planet. If everybody else did theirs, maybe things would be a little different. And the thing is, I'm not really against and again, in the climate change argument, I will say that, I'll say things like they use scare tactics and now they're facing the blowback from that. It's not even that I'm necessarily saying that what they're saying didn't have a point. It's just, I just don't feel like the government just takes too much of my money. I'll live a good life, but just stop taking my money to contribute it towards all this other stuff. Just like, no. The only thing that I do that uses up a lot of energy or electricity is turn on this air filter and soldering iron and all this other crap. And the whole point of doing that is to save stuff from being thrown away or save the energy and materials from reproducing it to begin with, so. And the other problem with things like those specific taxes is, I want you to think about this. Let's say that certain items are being produced, and there's a demand for these items to be produced, and you create a tax. Unless every single country that manufactures has the same tax, you're not really fixing anything. You're just saying, instead of polluting in my backyard, okay, pollute in their backyard. Like, it's the same Earth. I mean, and a lot of the people that say they care about the environment, they're still driving their 4x4. They're still throwing their cigarette and their trash on the ground in New York City because it's okay to throw a cigarette on the ground rather than actually throw it out. They don't really care. They're just pretending they care because it's cool. And that's what really gets to me, like the people that pretend to care because it's cool rather than actually giving a fuck in their everyday life and changing their life so that they use less energy, have a lower carbon footprint, and are genuinely doing good for the environment. Like I saw somebody during a protest about a week ago, right? And it was cold outside. There's this person wearing a fur coat, leather bag, talking about the environment and how Trump's ruining the environment. It's like, you fucking killed a fox and a cow. You killed a fox and a fucking cow so that you could carry a status symbol. And you're talking to me about the environment. Get the fuck out of here. Like, seriously. I mean, I'll leave you alone for the shit that you do, but no, get the fuck out of here. You don't get to hold up a sign. No. Out of here with that virtue signaling bullshit. Yes, these connectors have the pegs on them. Beautiful. Sometimes I get these connectors in and they don't have the pegs on them, so the pegs... See these little holes in the board? See the hole? You take this, you do this, and bam. All right. The scary part about oil that a lot of people don't know about, most body washes use some form of petroleum. If you look up every single ingredient on a lot of the body washes, a lot of those body washes use petroleum products. I was dating somebody a few years ago that's like, how do you like the dead dinosaurs? And I go, what are you talking about? And it's like, that you're scrubbing on yourself. And I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Makes you think very differently about what you're cleaning yourself with when you take a shower. This connector wouldn't be... I wouldn't know it was mine if it wasn't crooked. Nice crooked connector on here. I'm very conservative with solder on the front because that can easily flow back into the connector. I like Bronner's soap. I've never felt as clean as I did when I used Bronner's soap. I should make an affiliate link for Bronner's soap because I think that sells on Amazon. And the guy who makes it is clearly a nutbag if you read the stuff that they say on it, which I identify with because I'm a nutbag. Have you ever had something working perfectly, then ruins it beyond repair by trying to make it perfect? I hate having OCD. Yes, I have, and I even have a video on perfection and why it's bullshit. I've done that many times. That's why, like, that one last ultrasonic cleaning before you give it back, do you really want to do that on that board that's delaminating already? Ugh, I don't think so. How do you keep solder from going in the connector? I pray. Lots of praying. I guess being careful. Sometimes cursing at the connector. It's a combination of things, actually. Same thing is true if you're a mix engineer, if you're recording music. Like, don't save your mix under the same name. Every time you hit save, I want you to save it with a dash and a number. And then the next day, go back and listen to what you recorded, and then go back and listen to each mix, and you'll notice at some point, if you were mixing for too long, you actually started making the music sound worse. Go for it. Because I noticed that a lot of people save the mix as they go, and they continue hitting save, 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 instead of saving as a separate file. You'll notice that as you try to make, oh, I just want to hear the guitar a little bit clearer, oh, I just want the snare to be a little bit brighter, oh, and then you listen to it and it's like, what the fuck is this? This sounded fine before, and you're trying to get these little details to be perfect. I made it into a complete fucking mess. A lot of these principles apply to a lot of different aspects of life. It's the fun part about philosophy. When you figure something out, you can reuse it everywhere. If you don't believe us polluting the air doesn't change things, you are being willfully ignorant, says Chris Long. I would agree. I would. Hi there, I have an A1286 MacBook Pro. Yesterday I cracked a pin on the cable. When I plug it, it becomes hot and I only see white screen. Oh, you fucked it up bad. If I change the cable, will it be fixed? That depends on whether it got hot because you shorted PP3V3SO to grounds, which powers the LCD. If you didn't burn the inductor in the line, then no. If you didn't burn that inductor, then yes, replacing the cable will fix it. I don't know. You got to figure that out. You can measure that inductor. Okay, let's make sure there's no short to grounds on backlight before we continue. No short to grounds. Someone says nuclear fusion power is the future. Too bad no countries want to fund it. It would be nice if we could fund that rather than funding military and welfare and all the other horse shit that we fund. But it's going to be really hard to get Americans to get behind funding yet another thing. Because there's so much crap that we fund already. We fund college for so many people that come out to get jobs delivering Papa John's. We fund wars in countries we never wanted to go to war with. All right, we got a... There we go, we had an apple. Beautiful. Beautiful. Mwah. Did you get the thermostat I sent? Yes, I mentioned it in the last stream, but I mentioned it in the middle instead of the beginning. Sorry about that. Thank you for the thermostat. Do you ever drop a MacBook while handling it? No. If I did, I would totally never say it on a live stream, so it's pointless even asking. Can you tell me how to precisely fix my device without knowing what I did, being able to see my device and based on a crappy description? Absolutely. Email help@microsolderingssupply.com. No. A pair. All right. So we got a couple of things done today. Got a couple of things done today. It's time to turn off my cock and get out of here. So, that's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. How much are you squatting right now? I got to 255, I went back to 235 because my right leg started to tell me, like, no, don't do that. I don't want to re-tear. I don't have a health plan that allows me to re-tear. I don't have a health plan that allows me to tear the first time, actually. I'm going to go back low before I rip something. Public service announcement: on your way home, avoid 35th Avenue, 37th Street. Shia LaBeouf will yell at you for voting Trump even if you didn't. Huh. Let me Google this. Let's Google this. What are you talking about? Shia LaBeouf, man. I quote that guy all the time. Don't get me in trouble. This is the problem. You quote people, and then they wind up doing stuff that gets you in trouble. Let's see. Google Shia LaBeouf, whose name I'm probably... Oh, interesting. Let's see what's here. Hey, rail went back down to 1479. Come on, make your way back down to 1470, you fuck. It was at 1488 before. If I can only make it back to 1470 before the stream ends, that would be awesome. She is arrested at anti-Trump art show in New York. Well, I guess he's not yelling at people anymore. Yeah, all these people that are like, oh, we will not let him divide us because we will divide us. How dare you support somebody with divisive rhetoric? Only we are allowed to divide people by yelling at you in the street. Look at this, like, he will not divide us is the sign, but he's yelling at people. So, like, who's doing the dividing? Like, you screaming at people you don't know? Yeah. Hypocrite. She is in custody for assaulting some guy. Yeah. Yeah, this is silly. This is silly. He yelled at some neo-Nazi dude, says Chris Long. Oh, that's another big thing with that, is I see that, like, you know how the definition of racist, sexist, misogynist, or xenophobe was, how do I say this, vastly expanded over the last year and a half? I see the definition of neo-Nazi has been vastly expanded over the past, like, 2 months. Like, it actually used to, like, neo-Nazi used to mean Ed Norton's character in American History X. Now then neo-Nazi meant people that question certain things. Then neo-Nazi meant anybody I disagree. It's like it's slowly heading towards the word racist and sexist, which is bad because because that word is not going to mean anything anymore if people keep using it. The more you use the word when it doesn't have to be used, the more you dilute it and the more you make it worthless, to the point where when there's actually a reason to use the word, you can't because you pulled that card already. Yeah. Eric Wood says, but Shia said just do it before. He wasn't talking about voting Trump. Yeah, I guess it's his fault. He didn't clarify. He didn't. He didn't clarify. Oh man. People will always do that. That's why literally is misused, overused today. Chris Long says the guy is literally is neo-Nazi. Edward Spencer says everyone that disagrees with me is a Nazi. Eric Wood says I should probably get back to work and stop reading this chat. Can an ultrasonic cleaning cure most minor liquid damage boards? A good amount if you use the right stuff, but you have to use a good one. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Like just avoid the Branson ones. Branson liquid grade, Branson cleaner. The U.S. government came and flashed the eminent domain shit, so they were forced to surrender huge swaths of land. Yeah, eminent domain does some fucked up stuff. And it's a shame when they do it. Well, it's a shame when they do it for. Yeah, that's. I don't think a lot of people see this. That when government creates a law, what they're doing is they're putting they're putting a rifle at the end of each law. Because if you don't obey, then like what happens if you don't want to leave your home and eminent domain happens? Let's fix logic boards. Oh, I fixed my logic boards. I spilled a Coca-Cola on my tower PC. How fucked up I am. How the hell did you do that? Why'd you get the new multimeter? New? You noticed? It stands up. Yeah, did you notice that? Look at this. Look at this. It doesn't fall over when you tap it. Love it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Not going to spend the day reading a live chat. That's it for today. And again, I hope you learned something.